All right, people, here we go. Game just ended. The game just ended, and my prediction this year, Texas ain't going nowhere. They're not going to be a wild card team. They definitely not winning the division. The Texans aren't going anywhere this year. I don't care what the defense does. The state that the offensive end is in, the state that the offense is in, we're not going nowhere. We're not going to beat nobody worth beating. We're not. They could have won this fucking game here against the Jaguars when they didn't really deserve it. You know, you can't throw no blame on the defense for none of this shit. You can't ask the defense to play no better than it's been playing. Excuse me, but the offense itself is fucking garbage. Garbage. We are really about looking at a one and done offensive coordinator for this year. Caley might not be back next year. He might be out of here after this season. You know, it just, because at this point, you shouldn't be having these issues. You had all off season to install whatever the fuck you was going to install. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear nothing about the offensive line shuffling and all this other stuff, because a lot of the stuff I'm seeing ain't the O-line fault. Now, Ursery got his ass whooped this game. Now, if you see it's a goddamn mismatch on the goddamn outside, why not put, I can't even remember the goddamn tackle name in there. I'm like, yeah, you might want to stick old boy in there, the one that you paid to start with, and see if he has any luck against Josh Hyde, that Allen guy. You know, see if he has a look, see if he can block him a little bit better, because apparently Ursery ain't ready for that. He's just not. He ain't ready for that. They left him out there. And that's what ended up costing them the goddamn game. Y'all have to pardon me, I'm thirsty. And this is nasty. Fucking sparkling water. It tastes like artificial sweetener. Oh my goodness. And I call myself, you say, you know what? When I do this next little Texans video, I'm going to take some notes during the goddamn game. Partway through the first half, I was just like, I'm not even going to bother, bruh. I'm not even going to bother. It ain't nothing to note. It's the same shit. It's the same shit. And I'm still one of those people that don't think that you should include what's going on with the Texans offense, with this, what was going on with the Texans offense last year, even though it kind of looked the same. You're not stacking. Now, with the personnel that's out there, and it's the coordinator. Because there's a couple of points where I was looking at the game and I was doubting the play calling. The little sideways passes and shit like that. Yeah, we saw a lot of that last year, didn't we? Every almost all of these little sideways passes and so-called screens look like them bullshit screens they was running to Robert Woods last year. And none of that shit do nothing. And the thing about it is that I'm watching the game and I'm like, you know what? It looked like the goddamn Jaguars is expecting for them to do that. Because all of those plays got hit in the fucking backfield. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just like, it looked like they know what y'all about to do. And the Texans don't have no, you know what they gonna do. You know what I'm saying? You know what they gonna do. The run game has no creativity to it at all. You know what I'm saying? It don't have no creativity to it at all. You know when they gonna run the goddamn ball, because they run the ball just because you have to run the ball a certain percentage of time. You know what I'm saying? It was like, okay, we didn't throw the ball last drive, so we kind of obligated to at least run the ball this one time. So we just gonna give the running back the ball right up the middle of the goddamn line just to say that we ran the ball. They don't run the ball with no goddamn purpose at all. They don't. They don't run the ball with no purpose at all. So the other teams ain't even concerned with that. You put a fullback in the game, they running the ball. You know what I'm saying? Put a fullback in the game, they running the ball. If it ain't no fullback in the game, the ball is either going right up the fucking middle or they throwing it. It's not hard to call. If I can notice that, if I could sit here and look at the game and be like, yeah, it's no doubt whether the ball is in the air or whether it's on the ground. You know what I'm saying? Now, as far as what coverage you do and what they plan on running, I can't go that goddamn deep into it. But when you know somebody doing one or the other, that takes a whole goddamn lot of the effort out of the goddamn equation. What are you doing, Nick? Kaylee? What are you doing? It ain't your personnel. You know what I'm saying? It ain't your personnel. You, as the offense coordinator, is supposed to be able to operate, but around any deficiencies you have on the goddamn field. You call plays and you put your players in position to do whatever the fuck it is they do best. Or you call plays to keep them out of situations that accentuate their weaknesses. Like the announcer said at the end of the game. Why would you throw, why would you, on a whatever play it was, that last play where he threw the interception and the ball was tipped or Stroud's hand was hit as he was throwing the fucking ball, because the offense was operating pretty okay at that point. And right when you get into it, you run a play that puts your left tackle at a goddamn disadvantage because he can't keep up with Allen. And that's exactly what happened. He run around the goddamn guy and slapped the goddamn quarterback hand. Now we got an interception. Game the fuck over. What? Why wouldn't you call a quick pass? You know what I'm saying? You still got time on the clock. You still got time on the clock. Move the ball up the field a little bit more. Protect your players as best you can. Keep them out of situations where they are prone to, not having any success. And having a long drop back, other than a 3-step drop, when your tackle got to try to keep up with a guy 75, 100 pounds lighter than he is and just as fucking strong, and he ain't accustomed to that shit yet. He's a fucking rookie, so he's not accustomed to that shit yet. You leave him out there to just and it's like that. It's like that. That's how shit been going for the Texans. And it's not like they offense just been looking like total shit. Not the whole game. It wasn't like that when fucking Slowick was here. They had at least 1 or 2 good drives per game, and it's the same there. They have 1 or 2 good drives per game, but something along the way, if you look at the total amount of drives they get per game, 10 to 12 drives per game, and you only have 2 good drives out of all of that, that's not good at all. But it's not like they haven't been able to move the ball at all. It's always something that happens that fucks off their goddamn drive that they don't come back from. Just, it's ridiculous. It's hard for me to see that shit and not get pissed off watching it. It's hard for me to sit there and watch the shit and not get pissed off watching it. I ain't like I used to. I scream at the TV every so often, but goddamn, sometimes I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And a lot of times it's not even towards the players. The players get a couple of little hand waves. I'm just like, that shit gonna happen, that shit gonna happen. Ursula today, I'm just like, bruh, why is you grabbing? Excuse me. Early in the game, now he had a big long ass stretch before the end of the game where, you know, that one big mistake he made, you know, kind of fucked it off. But he had a long stretch where I didn't hear his name at all, which is a good thing. But before then, I think he had like 3 penalties, holding and shit, and I'm just like, why are you grabbing? Why are you grabbing? You know what I'm saying? I've always been one of those people. I'm like, you know, if I was in the NFL, my offensive lineman doing training camp and all that shit, you practice with boxing gloves on. I'm gonna make it where you can't grab shit. Put some boxing gloves on them motherfuckers and make them block like that. Why the fuck are you grabbing? Especially the stupid grabs where a motherfucker is running away from you and you still holding on. Once a motherfucker turn and start heading the other way, your hands gotta be off of them. And not this shit right here. Your hands just gotta be off of them. You go boop, 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 boop. A motherfucker start running away from you. You just, don't let a motherfucker run away from you and you holding your hands up like, yeah, I was holding them, but I'm not holding them now. I wasn't holding them. Motherfucker, just ball your goddamn fists up and do this shit right here. You stop fucking grabbing. Silly shit. They don't coach this? NFL? It ain't no other high level than the NFL in playing football. All this shit is supposed to be known already. Like when Daniil Hunter jumped off sides. That shit pissed me off. You don't usually see that out of him. What the fuck are you doing? You way out there on the edge of the line. You can see straight down there. You see the ball? You don't move unless that motherfucker move. It's funny how I gotta say this. I say that shit. Well, it ain't like the goddamn players are watching my goddamn videos. But they ain't like they watching my videos. But I'm like, this is shit I was taught in high school. Back in 1990, whenever the fuck. You move when the ball moves. You don't listen to the goddamn quarterback. You move when the ball moves. These motherfuckers out here jumping all off sides and shit when and they just jump off sides. I'm like, you move when the ball moves. It don't get no simpler than that. It don't get no simpler than that. And if you a goddamn interior defensive lineman and you fall for that shit, you fucking dumbass. You need to be cut immediately. But I don't think I haven't seen a interior defensive lineman jump off sides or anything like that yet. It ain't like I ain't never seen it happen before, but it's usually motherfuckers on the outside. I don't know what the fuck they looking at. Their eyes are in the backfield or whatever the fuck. Your eyes need to be right there on the ball. You got two. I got one fucking eye on this side. And if I'm on the left side, right side of the line, I might not be able to see the football. I got to look like this, be able to see the goddamn football. I got to turn my head all the way to the left. But I know on the goddamn right, where I got all my peripheral vision, I can look and see that goddamn ball and not have to look directly at it. That motherfucker don't move, I don't move. I don't get it. Simple shit. Motherfuckers get jittery on the goddamn offensive line. Who was that had a false start? I think the false start was on Schultz or something. I don't know. And another penalty was on. It was a holding penalty on Titus Howard, and he knocked the motherfucker on the ground, but I think he had a hole in his jersey on the way down. If you gonna knock a motherfucker down, you gotta let a motherfucker go. You can't knock a motherfucker down and then hold him as he going all the way down to the goddamn ground. That they gonna get you for that. You know what I'm saying? You get a motherfucker like, oh motherfucker, you get him like you get a good pancake block on a motherfucker and put him on his back, but you get a penalty called on you because you holding on to his goddamn jersey. If you'd have just boom and just let go, shit. That type of shit, it irritates me when I see it. It irritates me when I see it. I'm like, what are y'all doing? And like I said with the play calling, I can't blame none of the players on hardly any of this shit. The only player you can blame is like when a motherfucker have an off-ass game like Ursery did. You can throw some blame that way. And of course, the quarterback, because of the decision making that just falls on his shoulders. It's just inherent that if the offense ain't moving like it's supposed to be, a lot of that's going to fall on his shoulders because he has to decide who and where the ball goes in the passing game and shit like that. And of course, the offense coordinator. But as far as the players, can't blame none of the receivers for shit. You know, you can get mad at college for fumbling the goddamn ball. If he don't fumble that ball, I think they win the game. They had opportunities after that, but I think if he don't fumble that goddamn ball, if that ball don't get knocked loose, they don't win. I think they win this game because that was one of the times where the offense was actually moving. You know what I'm saying? But the offense was doing what it was supposed to do, which I'm like, won't you do that all the time? Won't you do that all the time? You want to switch shit up? You want to make shit different from last year? Run that shit all the time. You're not running the ball no way. And the times you are running the ball is just, just bullshit. It ain't no effort in trying to actually move the ball. You getting positive yards out of this shit because you got a decent running back there. And that's kind of his thing is, it ain't hardly no negative runs. That's one of the good things you can say about the running game is that we don't have a whole lot of negative runs. We got a lot of 2s and 3s and 4s. But as far as negative runs, it has been very few of those this year. But nothing much more than that because it don't even look like, the running plays are designed to do more than that. Except for a couple of times where they did attack the corners, and I'm just like, well, that didn't really work all that well. You know what I'm saying? It didn't really work all that well. You run out there, but you get positive yards, but it's like you don't run, you don't attack the I forget what they call it, the 8-hole or whatever the fuck, attack that shit. The linebackers and shit are in the league are, they scrape too fast for that shit to work a lot. Now I see teams that do that shit and they work all the goddamn time. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, nah, it's not something you do. But you see running plays when the Texans do it, it just ain't right. That's all I can say about that. It just ain't right. It ain't designed to do nothing. It's just a mandatory run they gotta do to keep the defense honest, so they can keep halfway throwing the ball up the goddamn field, which don't work which actually, you know, it don't work but a couple of drives out the goddamn game. Can't blame the receivers because it don't seem like the plays that are being called at the right time. I don't know what their playbook look like. But I know all those sideways passes, the quick game and all this other shit, most of that shit, you know, the quick game, you know, get the ball out the quarterback hand. You know, that means more than throwing the ball in the flats, you know. You know what I'm saying? That means a lot more than just throwing the ball in the flats, especially when as soon as you get the ball to somebody in the flats, they getting hit as soon as they hit the ball. You know what I'm saying? It just, because Marks can do something after he get loose, after he get the ball. Hell, Chubb can do something after he get the ball. But ain't nobody doing nothing as soon as you carry the ball, you getting wrapped up. Because they gotta read on your shit. You keep running that shit, those little passes gonna start turning into pick sixes because motherfuckers gonna jump them goddamn routes and take that shit right to the fucking house. What then? The offense is predictable. All the way up until the point where you get to oh shit mode and it's, you know, 3 minutes or something left in the goddamn game and your whole game plan is out the window. Now you gotta do like this, and all of a sudden the offense works a little bit. How about you jump off your ass, you know, at the beginning of the goddamn game? You know what I'm saying? This is how we doing at the beginning of the game. Boom, we up and off and on their ass. You know what I'm saying? 2 minute goddamn clock, the whole goddamn game. That's how we fucking playing. That's how we going. How about do that? Because the shit you got now, you know, talking about keeping up the pace and shit like that. Who used to do that? I can't remember who used to do that. It wasn't the Oilers, you know. The Oilers had the run and shoot, but it wasn't no super fast paced ass offense. Somebody had that. I can't remember who the fuck it was, but I know it was a team that did that. They was on your ass. Boom, boom, boom. They'd be right there on the goddamn line of scrimmage, ready to run the next goddamn play. And you and your defense ain't have no time to sub or do nothing. It's just like, okay, we going, blah, blah, blah. You trying to sub? Oh, the fuck well. We didn't, so we ain't got to wait on you. You know what I'm saying? Because if the offense sub, the defense get an opportunity to sub. If the offense don't sub, then whoever you got on the field on defense is going to have to do what they got to do. Because if you try to sub and they catch you going off guard, you're going to get caught with 12 men on the field or not enough men on the field or motherfuckers playing out of goddamn position because they trying to move around and get shit. Yeah, let's move then. If we going to move, let's fucking move. You know what I'm saying? All you see, they put on silent and these motherfuckers, they got their goddamn fucking, they got their Waffle House being used just, you know, this little shit right here when you talking. You know what? Stop this. Buy a fucking mask. If you gotta do all this shit right here and you can't talk without motherfuckers trying to read your lips, just buy a fucking mask. Just put a little mask on your goddamn shit right here. They can still hear you on the goddamn microphone. So you can just stop walking around with the goddamn menu on your goddamn face doing this shit here throughout the goddamn game. That shit looks fucking ridiculous to me. If you gotta worry about it that much, yeah, just put on a mask where you can shut up.
Jared profile button.
Hey, mind your business.
1 of 6. Press up or down for other profiles.
Ain't nobody even talking to you, man. Goddamn, talk back on my goddamn Xbox. Anywho. Yeah, but have your goddamn plays ready to go in the game. Pop, pop, pop. Move, move, move. If you having problems with your goddamn offense, motherfuckers got a beat on what you doing, don't give them time to fucking adjust. It don't take that long to call goddamn plays. It don't take that long to get. You call a play and boom, get them in there. You know if you want a cross route play or you want a fade route play, Just call one of them shits and have it ready to go. You know what I'm saying? You know, as soon as the other player's over, bye. This is what we're doing. Blah. Give them a number, whatever the fuck you do, so they can get up there. We ain't waiting on the goddamn the fucking play clock to burn all the way down to fucking 2 goddamn seconds. No. As soon as we get to play, we moving. We moving. We're not waiting on you or nobody. We ain't no clock management. We started playing clock ball at fucking 2 minutes. We'll start playing clock ball then. You know what I'm saying? We'll start playing clock ball then. Other than that, we moving. Do all this other shit where they take their goddamn time. You taking your time doing this, that, and other. It ain't fucking working. It's not fucking working. The offense don't seem to work until it's time to actually back up against the wall, and then the offense is actually moving, and then like it's gonna always be a catastrophic mistake or penalty that's gonna fuck everything up. That's how it goes with the Texans. That's how it's been going with the Texans the last couple of seasons. You get down there in the red zone or anywhere close to it with actual momentum on your side, and then something happens. It's either a penalty or a fucking turnover at this point. At this point, it's been 3 turn. Well, that Nico Collins fumble wasn't in the red zone, but they did have some goddamn momentum going as far as I was concerned, because when they got the ball back, they kept kind of moving like they've been moving. I don't know, man. It's frustrating. But the Texans, like I said, they're not going nowhere this year. They not. And at this point, do I want to keep my live TV on Hulu? Because it's costing me like $100 a month to watch these goddamn games, and I got to really think about it. Now I can still watch this shit on like Paramount Plus, but you can't watch like the home games, I don't think. But I'm like, do I want to pay? Do I want to keep paying to watch this shit? You know what I'm saying? Because they not, it's one side of the ball not playing. It ain't like last time I had to stop watching the Texans where they just, neither side of the ball was coming to play. You know what I'm saying? When they had all the talent, you know what I'm saying? When they had all the talent, it wasn't nobody coming to play. They was getting their ass whooped, and they had all the players, on the team from the previous year that was whooping people's ass before. Yeah, you know what I'm trying to say. Now it's like, well, I mean, it's one side of the ball that's doing well beyond what they should have to do. And then you got the offensive side of the ball, which ain't nowhere close to where they need to be. It's not. It's just nowhere close to where they need to be. And it's getting to the point where it's beyond analysis. What do they need to do? They need to do better. Can you pinpoint it? No. Because it's so much other than personnel. It's so much other than personnel. Christian Kirk was back. Did that help? Nope. He wasn't no better than anybody else that was in there. Matter of fact, I only seen Christian Kirk like twice. How many catches he had during that game? 2 catches? Actually, no, that first catch didn't even count. So he might have had 2 catches, maybe 3 if it was some shit I didn't see. Yeah, and so that wasn't a big thing, and I didn't see that being a big thing, no way. If they wasn't doing it with the people they had with the people they had in there beforehand, then they wasn't gonna be doing it anyway. Christian Kirk ain't that much better than whoever they got in the backup. If they get the ball to Christian Kirk more often than they got anybody that was backing him up, that's because they made a conscious effort to throw him the ball and a conscious effort not to include whoever was backing him up in the game. And that ain't, you know, there's been other people that kind of made that point. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think they had a problem with trying to force Nico Collins the ball in this game. They spread the ball around quite a bit. They do. They spread the ball around quite a goddamn bit. Whoever's open should get the goddamn ball. You don't just try to throw it to one motherfucker. You know, you throw motherfuckers out there, they open, shit, throw them the goddamn ball. But like I say, that's the receivers. You can't blame none of the goddamn receivers. It ain't like our receivers were like they receivers. They were dropping balls all over the goddamn field. They're dropping balls all over the goddamn field. Giving the Texans, again, all sorts of chances to win the goddamn game. Giving the Texans all sorts of fucking opportunities to stay in the game and win the motherfucker. Offense get on the field and can't take a goddamn advantage of it. Defense gives you chances. They offense give you chances. When the defense just doing whatever it do. It's the other team's offense that's doing more fucking up than the defense is doing whooping their ass. And you get the goddamn ball and can't do shit with it. You fuck it off. Just fuck it off. That's it. Just get back there, fucking goddamn tackle. Your left tackle end up stepping on your quarterback foot. Like, that's the furthest blocker away from the goddamn quarterback. How you get way back over here to where you stepping on the quarterback foot while he's still dropping back? The fuck is happening with you? You know, that shit kind of irritates me a little bit when it comes to some of these. Dude, you a 350-pound goddamn dude. Well, I don't know if he 330, 3 whatever the fuck. You playing against a guy 270. Once you get past a certain body weight, everybody's strength is pretty much the goddamn same. It's all about leverage and using, you know, your agility or your body weight to your advantage. Because, like I say, at that point, everybody's you pretty much at physical limits at that point. Ain't nobody getting no stronger. You know what I'm saying? There's always people stronger and weaker and all this other stuff. But at that point, everybody's fucking strong as fuck past a certain body weight. Don't matter whether you 290 or 350 goddamn pounds. One of them ain't no stronger than the other, but the other guy is just bigger. The other guy is just faster. Strength-wise. So, but at that point, like I said, all about leverage and shit like that. But if you that goddamn big and you just let a motherfucker just push you, I'm like, bruh, you know. And you have to look, and it looks even weirder when you look at, if you look at motherfuckers side by side. You got this motherfucker right here, and then you got this motherfucker right here. But this motherfucker right here just gonna knock this motherfucker all the way back up. And there was one of those plays where he just ran around Ursery. I'm like, what are you doing? I mean, just, you know, and I seen that happen last year when Chris Jones did it to Blake Fisher, where he just ran around, he just ran past him. He didn't do no move, it wasn't no swim move, or no weird ass shit where you step over, you know, and all kind of shit, kind of confuse the motherfucker footwork. And no, he just went, yeah, just ran right by him. And that happened to fucking, Ursery. You know how Allen just ran around this motherfucker. He don't turn, motherfucker. You gotta back the fuck up. You gotta keep yourself in between shit. You can't just turnstile the motherfucker. It's just, what the fuck are you doing? Like I said, I'm not out there playing, so it's only so much what I know about football would translate into what's happening on the field now. But I know goddamn well you can't be having your feet stuck in one goddamn spot when you know a motherfucker is faster than you. Yeah, they goddamn little drops, that first little drop step they held back. You gotta widen your goddamn base. His goddamn feet was right next to each other. Yeah, man. Fundamentals, man. And I know they work on fundamentals. You know how I know they work on fundamentals? Because they was actually tackling motherfuckers in this game. They was actually tackling motherfuckers. Now, the shit got weird after the first half a little bit. That goddamn tackling started falling off a little bit. But they was actually tackling motherfuckers in the first half to start the game. And went for the most of the game. Motherfucker was hitting and wrapping up. Because they wasn't doing that last week and everybody saw it. And I even saw some shit on YouTube with one of the little people that cover the practices and shit. Well, they were actually going over that shit in practice. They had to go all the way back to practice and tackling. And that's one of the things I look for when I watch these games from the Texans. I see what they fuck up on, and then I try to see, okay, especially if it's one of them things that everybody fucking sees. If everybody sees it, it ain't no way you gonna tell me the coaches didn't. Or they gonna come back the next game and have that same problem. Well, they came back this game, didn't have the same problem. I was impressed with that. You know what I'm saying? I was impressed with that. Okay. Cool. You know what I'm saying? I know they wasn't just sitting around at practice on their ass doing whatever the fuck they usually do that ain't improving on nothing. They actually saw some shit and they went to rectify it. Now on the offense, I can't tell you. A lot of the intricate shit they need to work on is on the offensive line. Ursary had a pretty decent game the last game, where everybody talking about, yeah, he did better this game. Well, he definitely didn't do that much better in this game right here if it was just based on those penalties. You know what I'm saying? And he gonna have to do better with that because you the left tackle. You gonna get those matchups every goddamn week. That is your goddamn job, is to deal with that irritating shit that you had to deal with today. Your job, that's what they pay you for. As a left goddamn tackle, is to deal with those motherfuckers that you can't block. So you got it. That's something you got to do. You know what I'm saying? That's something you got to do. You got to get better at it. You know what I'm saying? You got to do some mental reps. There's only so much you're going to do during practice and shit during the season. So you better be watching some film, do some mental reps, study, so you know a motherfucker moves that's going to be in front of you, across from you. So when the game comes, you got a pretty good idea of, you know, what's about to happen. So when the motherfucker start doing whatever, you got a counter already in line. So when the motherfucker go to do his little thing, you already there to be like, nope, not doing that. You gonna do something else, but you ain't doing that. We gonna at least cut that bullshit out. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got their little signature move and shit and stuff like that. But, you know, we not doing that. You gonna have to pull something else out your ass. But I got that one covered. There's a couple other shits I know you got too. We gonna be ready for that. So you gonna have to come with all your goddamn tricks today. You gotta do it, man. You just gotta do it. You can't. That's your fucking job. And as far as Stroud is concerned, I can't tell you what's going on with the offense as far as Stroud is concerned, because is it the offensive line? Because, you know, they was talking about him bailing out the pocket too early, holding on to the ball too long, and all this other shit, you know. I can't see downfield. I'm watching the game on TV. So I can't watch what's going on in the pocket and see what's going on, you know, downfield at the same goddamn time. TV don't really work like that a lot of times. So if he holding on to the goddamn ball I can't tell if the wide receivers are open. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I can assume is that ain't nobody open. I can't see if somebody's open. He just don't see them and all this other shit. I'm not in the box, watching the game from a bird's eye view where I can see all that shit at one goddamn time. Only thing I know is, okay, that ball's supposed to be gone by now. Or I watch him spin out the pocket. And nowadays, that shit just don't, every time I see him run out the pocket, I'm just like, okay, this is some bullshit. Because he's done it so much and then the percentage of something opening up after he does that is very low. You know what I'm saying? They're like, okay, boom, all right. We got the I forget what they call it, whatever kind of drill where, okay, the quarterback is scrambling, everybody got to try to work towards the quarterback or open part of the goddamn field so he has somewhere to throw the goddamn ball. Don't see a whole lot of that now. You know what I'm saying? You don't see a whole lot of that now. And usually, when if CJ is rolling out to the right, you would think he would be able to find something. A lot of times that ball go out of bounds. If he rolling to the left, likelihood of him finding something is very, very low, because being able to make a decent throw to somebody that you actually find open, especially if they towards the middle of the field and you roll into your left and you right-handed, by the time you position yourself to properly make that throw, now you can make that throw with just your arm, but ain't no telling what's liable to happen. But to square your shoulders, and by the time you do that, that window might be closed. Might not be nobody heading up the goddamn sideline. It's just, I don't know. Man, do they run the fire drill? You know what I'm saying, during practice? Play breakdown. Everybody, whoever's on the sideline, just head straight up, and then other motherfuckers got to kind of break back this way, and motherfucker got to make sure that they working towards across the goddamn field. If you see the quarterback is off script, if you see that's what motherfuckers like Travis Kelce and shit like that come in clutch, because they get the intricacies of the goddamn game and what the defense is doing. And that's why Mahomes usually always have somewhere to throw. When Mahomes always got somewhere to throw the goddamn ball when they roll out like that. Lamar always got somewhere to throw the goddamn ball when they roll out like that. Josh Allen always got somewhere to throw the goddamn ball when they roll out like that. CJ roll out like that, ain't nobody open. Nobody open. Aren't we not going over this shit in practice? You know what I'm saying? Are we not going over this shit in practice? Obviously fucking not. Because shit just doesn't fucking work. CJ running, rolling out, he can't do nothing but throw the ball out of goddamn bounds, because it ain't going to be a little lane on the outside for him to scoot up for 5-6 yards and shit all the goddamn time. It's just not going to fucking happen all the time. I don't get it. It's a lot that the offense needs to work on. It's a lot that the offense needs to be doing. And this is some nasty shit. I'm not buying this no more. Oh my goodness. What's this? This clearly American shit? Is it that's what this is? From Walmart? Blue raspberry? Look at these nuts. Man. Nasty. Yeah, but I ain't got shit else to say. I would talk about it ain't nothing for me to talk about the defense on. Defense, of course, did what they needed to do. They gave up that big ass play at the end of the goddamn game, but how long can you hold a motherfucker to much or nothing? They gonna get it. The Texans got a big, The Jaguars held the goddamn Texans to little to nothing, but they got that one big 50-yard touchdown play. You know, at some point in the game, a team gonna give at least one big play. It might not score or no shit like, but it's gonna get one big play. You rather them get that shit early and at the end of the game. But how long can you hold a motherfucker? You know, just how long can you hold him? You can't blame the defense for shit. They got a turnover and everything. It just, what else can you fucking do? You can't do nothing else. You know what I'm saying? You're not for to be just pitching shutouts. You know what I'm saying? This is a good defense. This is not a historically good defense. You know what I'm saying? Which I think historically means is probably based on, you know, a continuous body of work. But I'm just talking about historically as in, you know, best in history. You know, no, it's not. It's not that goddamn good. Because if it was that good, they would have won all these games because they'd have had about 3 or 4 sacks a goddamn game. And it's been, and even though they'll manage to get a sack or two, those pressures get real. The pressure on the quarterback seems kind of light. You know what I'm saying? I be watching the games and they be like, yeah, Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson had such and such pressures and such pressures and such pressures. And I'm looking at the goddamn game and I'm just like, that goddamn quarterback didn't look pressured at all. He looked mighty goddamn comfortable in that goddamn pocket. You know what I'm saying? If a pressure is just, you just happen to be standing at a certain distance from a quarterback when he throw the goddamn ball or some shit, then that don't count for much or nothing because you're not disturbing the play at all. All those pressures, I mean, are those pressures actually disrupting the play or they just happen to be close to the quarterback when he threw the ball? I don't know how that stack works. But I hear it a lot. When they got such and such quarterback pressures and this many sacks, well, those pressures didn't really help y'all that much. Not goddamn did it. Because most of the time, especially like in this game, those quarterback pressures don't mean shit. All the bad throws came from Martin Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence himself. He might as well have been fucking Martin Lawrence. Because motherfuckers wasn't catching the goddamn ball. You can't even blame him. But some of those throws is just like, no, that's either on him or the receiver. They ain't had nothing to do with the goddamn defensive lineman back there in the backfield. They didn't force the mistake. You know? And it'd be like that. I'll be watching the goddamn game. I'm like, every time I get to the point where I'm like, they ain't getting no pressure on the goddamn quarterback. The play after I say that, or as I'm saying it, they get a fucking sack. I think that's happened every game this year. By the time I'm watching the game, I'm like, man, these motherfuckers ain't getting no pressure on the quarterback. Like, oh, whoop, there we go. We got a sack. You know, I was like, there we go. We got a sack. And then sometimes those sacks come in bunches because the Texans defense have a tendency of getting on your ass for a certain amount of time. They might get in your ass for about 2-3 drives in a goddamn row before shit start to flatten out again. And they, you know, and as far as I'm concerned, they did pretty goddamn good. Taking that, you know, at least I know Stingley went out. That didn't seem to be a big ass issue once Stingley left. And I know C.J. Gardner-Johnson went down, but I wasn't paying enough attention to the defense to know if he came back in the game or not. I don't know. I don't have any injury news or nothing like that because I started this recording as soon as the game went off. I didn't want to see no post game or no nothing like that. I'm gonna wait. I do my shit first. I'll go watch media and shit after I'm done with mine. So I can watch them say all the same shit that I just got through saying. Which, I mean, I used to be like, yeah, okay, my football IQ still there. I saw what I saw. You You know, I think I'm right. All the little professional people that cover the game saw the same thing I saw. They say the same thing I'm saying. Cool. Yeah. That's, you know, kind of validate myself. But now when I'm looking at it, I'm just like, how can you not see this shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm watching shit happen. I'm just like, how do you not watch this shit? Anybody that's watching the games and see anything other than what I'm seeing or anybody else, well, what the fuck are you watching? Because at this point, it's obvious. It's obvious. You know, offense has no continuity, and all of that's falling on the coaching as far as I'm concerned. All of it. You know what I'm saying? You can't blame the players for that. Like I was saying earlier, ain't none of the players you can blame for that, other than some of the mental shit you might see on the offensive line. Because unfortunately, if you having brain farts on the offensive line, that shit trickles down to everybody. You know what I'm saying? Performance-wise, your offensive line fuck off. Your running game ain't what it's supposed to do. Your passing game ain't gonna be what it's supposed to be because your quarterback is either getting sacked or his throws are getting fucked with, or the timing gets thrown off or some shit like that, and then receivers can't do whatever the receivers do unless all that shit is working in unison. You know what I'm saying? Because they depend on everybody else to get the fucking ball. So, and it wasn't a big special teams day. With no big returns, with no block this, block that. You know. And that bullshit ass call, that leverage call is ass. That leverage call was straight up ass. If they gonna have that kind of shit, then like that leverage call, because you know they got this like, okay, you know, personal foul, whatever. Why is it a personal foul? That's just stupid to start with. Why can't it just be like a regular penalty? It ain't like he did something malicious against some other goddamn player. You know, he jumped up and had his hand on the goddamn back. Now, I know you can't jump on top of motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying? I know you can't jump on top of motherfuckers. And shit like that. But the fucking offensive lineman is already bent over like this. You trying to get up, and he had his hand like this. What leverage? You know what I'm saying? What leverage? He wasn't getting no higher off the ground than he already was. He not fit to propel himself. I don't give a damn how strong that dude is. He not fit to propel himself no further off the ground than him jumping with his arm on that dude back. He just not. If he'd have jumped, actually, if he'd have had both hands up, he would have had a better goddamn opportunity to do whatever he was trying to do. You know what I'm saying? He would have had a better opportunity because him having his hand didn't help him none. And I saw that because I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Because every time I see one of them calls like that, and you don't get to see that shit, you know, as you watching the game on TV. It ain't until they draw the little yellow lines on the screen or circle them motherfucking do that till you get to see. So I'm just like, you stupid motherfucker, why the hell is you know, what the hell is you doing? You doing some shit you know you ain't supposed to be doing. Then they show that shit in slow motion. I'm looking at the penalty and I'm like, oh, get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit ass call. Fuck it. How you even see that? You know what I'm saying? And a lot of times, a lot of that shit get to me. You got these refs out here, and I'm just like, some of the shit that they be catching, I'm like, you have to be looking at that one. How can you officiate a whole goddamn play and see that? I mean, if you saw that, it ain't no telling what the fuck else you'd have missed. Because you can't see every goddamn thing. That means you had to been just looking at that motherfucker waiting on him to do something. That's kind of how a bunch of these goddamn penalties come out to me. Like, because, and basically that's how you have to do it if you are officiating these games. I guess they all got they eye zones. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how many officials are on the field. I guess they all got their eye zones. They not out there watching the game. They out there watching areas. You know what I'm saying? They out there watching they section of the field, and they don't see nothing else. You know what I'm saying? They don't see nothing else. You got this, whoever this is designed, is designated to watch this part of the field. You got people probably on the side that make sure everybody is lined up like they is where they lined up where they supposed to be, and looking at movement along the goddamn line and shit like that. And you got motherfuckers in defensive backfield that kind of cover all of that shit. But even then, because it got to be like that, because you see those penalties called, like, well, they got this penalty call for like defensive holding and shit like that. That happens away from the ball on the opposite side of the goddamn field. The action is way over on past this hash over here, and you got a motherfucker. You call a motherfucker for illegal hands or holding or whatever the fuck you want to call. Way back on this side of the goddamn field where ain't nothing going on. You know what I'm saying? Because I guess that's where your eyes are supposed to be. But it ain't got nothing to do with the goddamn play. But it's his job to watch that part, just like. Would I want to be a goddamn official? No, because I would miss all kind of shit because I'd be out there watching the goddamn game. Tell you that shit right now. I will. I'll tell you that shit right now. But what else we got here? As far as the Texans, it ain't nothing else to talk about. It's really not. There's nothing else to talk about. Am I saying the season is over? Technically, no. But I was expecting to see some progress in this game, and I didn't. The defense does what it does every week, and the offense just shows no life, no improvement, no nothing. And as I said earlier, Nick Caley might be a one and done. He might be a one and done, because what's going to happen is a couple of more games like this, and everybody gonna start calling for his job. Everybody gonna start calling for his job. Now, will they get rid of him during the season? I don't know. I don't think so. But he damn sure might not be back next year. Tell you that right now. Not after not having no improvement at all. No improvement. The shit been shitty since you got here. And I'm telling you right now, with the personnel that we got, we ain't supposed to have no bottom ass offense. I don't give a damn what you say about the offensive line. We're not supposed to have no bottom ass offense. Nash is supposed to be, top of the league. Nope, not at all. Excuse me. No, it's not. But it ain't supposed to be bottom of the league. I'm going to tell you that right now. And like I said, that's all coaching. And the motherfucker calling the plays. And the motherfucker that's calling the plays is, he'll first year play caller and all that other shit and blah, blah, blah. You can say what you want to say. But you gotta be able to do a better job of adjusting to what the fuck is going on. You got to be able to do a pretty good job. Now, like I said before, I watch these games and I look to see what's different from last week. And the offense, you know, and it ain't like they ran the same goddamn offense. You know, it ain't like, okay, this the same shit. Nah, the results are the same, but they came out doing different shit. So it ain't like he came out the same way. I mean, it's the same results. You came out, you run different types of plays, and the shit still ain't working. People that use the quick pass game. They come out and they try to run some version of the quick pass game, which gotta be more than throwing the ball to the fucking sidelines. You know, so I mean, I can't call that. I can't put that as a check mark as improvement, but I do put that as a check mark for, okay, they did come out and run some different shit. You know what I'm saying? They did come out and run some different shit. So it ain't like they didn't try to address what they thought might be a problem, but they came out to address what might be a problem. And it turns out that that shit didn't work either, because it looked like, you know, it looked like the Jacksonville Jaguars just selected the exact same play on Tecmo Bowl and just blew that shit up. That's what it looked like. Okay, well, shit, fuck it. Everybody know, fuck it. We're going to come out, we're going to do the quick passing game, get the ball out of CJ's hands. And then in the Jaguars locker room, they was like, yeah, they're going to come out and they're going to try to get the ball out quick, CJ's hands. And we know they going straight to the flats and to the sidelines. Now, how did they know that? I don't know. But for some reason, they knew that. Because they didn't get no success until they stopped doing that shit. You know what I'm saying? The downfield game is where it was. But you have to have a quick downfield game. That shit to the sidelines has to be every so often. You just can't keep doing that. You know, if you're going to run the ball, you got to run the ball with a purpose. Don't just line up with a fullback back there and run the goddamn ball when they know you're going to run the fucking ball. And if you're going to run the goddamn ball, just at least act like you trying to let the, I don't know. Because everybody, I mean, it ain't no holes up front. It's not. There's no holes up front. So all the run plays just look shit as fuck. They all do. They all just look shit as fuck. I'm just like, this ain't where it's at, man. You know, this ain't where it's at. This ain't got nothing to do about no Joe Mixon being there. If Joe Mixon was out there, he would be getting his ass towed up too. Because don't act like Joe Mixon was just scooting around and up the field on motherfuckers all of last year. That is not the goddamn case. Joe Mixon was getting his ass stuffed for losses and shit just as much as anybody else was. I've seen that motherfucker sit on the sidelines having one of them fucking 40, 60-yard rushing games looking about sick as a fucking puppy. So, yeah, it ain't about the running backs we got. No matter, every running back we got back there looking like Dameon Pierce. And they just deactivated that motherfucker for the last couple of weeks. Just he wasn't doing what he was supposed to do. Well, the rest of these motherfuckers ain't doing no better. So it ain't much of his fault. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. I'm like, it ain't much. You deactivate him like he ain't got it. Well, you know, he might not, but ain't nobody else got it either. Because ain't nobody else busting through that line, you know, doing anything, because it ain't nothing to bust through. Every once in a while, it's a hole where you can get about 6-7 yards. That's it. That's it. That's all you get. You get then you only get that maybe once. I don't even know if they got it once this game. Once or twice. When you get a run for about 9 yards or some shit. Just it ain't there. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's one of, what was that last week? I was thinking about some shit. I'm just like, okay, I know they got their shit that they be working on. You know what motherfuckers need to do, Mr. Nick Haley? Maybe you need to start watching some other team games. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you need to start watching what's working around the goddamn league. See what plays other motherfuckers is running. You ain't got to try to emulate other motherfuckers' offense, but I'm pretty sure whatever you got in your playbook, you can look and be like, okay, we need to run more of this, and more of this. You know what I'm saying? The shit that I got, which is more comparable to what's working around the goddamn league. And that'll give you some incremental shit. You know, some incremental progress towards getting the offense running like it's supposed to be. Because, you know, apparently our receivers aren't being. It's like even last year. It's like our receivers have routes, but none of our receivers are being schemed open. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, we doing this. This is designed to get this man open. Are we running scrape routes and shit like that? I seriously doubt it. I see that shit ran against us. When motherfuckers is running scrape routes and, you know, making our DBs and shit either hop out of the way of receivers or running each other to get motherfuckers open and shit like that. I don't see it. And if I don't see it against the Texans, I see other teams do it. I don't never see the Texans run shit like that. Like, okay, this right here is designed to get this motherfucker here open. It just looked like motherfuckers just, okay, all right, go. And that's it. That's it. It's like, motherfucker, just go. Run these routes. I don't know. It's frustrating. I'll be here all night saying the same shit over and over again because it ain't really nothing else to fucking say. The offense is stagnant, and I think it's because these motherfuckers is probably thinking about what they want to do too much. Like I said, I think we need to be running the 2-minute hurry up offense the whole goddamn game. Do that shit just to see what the fuck is going on. We doing a 2-minute offense. I wish I could remember who ran that shit. Because I know it was a team that ran that they start off the game running that goddamn 2-minute offense. Get out there and just start rushing motherfuckers. Don't give them time to adjust to shit. Don't give them time to adjust to shit. Get your goddamn put your personnel out there and have your personnel pack be to where you got motherfuckers that can line up in more than one goddamn spot, so you ain't got to sub motherfuckers. You got Schultz out there. You can spread him out into a slot, keep him in tight, and you know, you just have them motherfuckers out there to where you can move your goddamn formation around and run some shit without slowing the goddamn game down. Now, I am fully aware that if you're going to do that, that's not some shit that you finna put in a week's time. You know what I'm saying? It's not something you're going to put in a week's time if you're putting that in as a system. But you already got plays that they know. That just means, okay, you got a package out there. You got more than one goddamn play for whatever personnel package you got out there. Run their ass. You know what I'm saying? Run their ass. You know what I'm saying? 2 or 3 plays in the goddamn row. You know what I'm saying? Or until, you know, you just get to a point where the clock just, you know, stops. Incomplete pass or some shit like that. You know, just first, second, third down, move their ass. Until you get a, you know what I'm saying? Until you get an incomplete pass or some shit where, you know, it ain't no choice but to fucking stop. Yeah, I know, man. I'm saying this shit as an armchair goddamn coach, but at this point, the fuck you got to lose? Because ain't nothing that they doing is working. You got all your players out there. So that's not a fucking excuse. You know what I'm saying? You'd have ran whatever kind of offense you thought you needed to run. That shit didn't work. You did the little short game shit. That didn't work. You know. What else can you do? You want to talk about having motherfuckers have some fun? Let a motherfucker go out there and play some street ball. You know what I'm saying? Let them go out there and play some goddamn street ball. Run the goddamn plays. Motherfucker catch the ball, run their ass back to the goddamn. Get motherfucker out there, shit, hand the ball off, boot, run for about 3-4 goddamn yards. But they'll get a chance. They'll get a chance to rest. Motherfuckers will call a timeout. Everybody get a chance to goddamn rest. That's what you got other motherfuckers back there for. That's what you got backups for. Stick the motherfuckers in there, run their ass. You know what I'm saying? Run their motherfucking ass. Clock stop, motherfucking there. You get your chance to fucking switch packages, whatever. Stick some new motherfuckers in there. Run their ass. Run their ass. Because that's the only time the goddamn offense seem like it's going to work worth anything is when the back's up against the goddamn wall. Well, fuck it. Your back is already up against the goddamn wall. Throwing no goddamn corner routes in the goddamn end zone from the 1 yard line. You just stop that shit right there. You know what I'm saying? You just stop that shit right there. Know when to run the goddamn ball. Know when to, and that's what I was. That's another thing. I guess like, okay, if they don't think they about to run the ball for 7-8 yards carry, they just won't run it at all. All right, we ran the ball, and sometimes they'll run the ball once, twice in a row or some shit like that. But both of those runs, when they do that, it always look the same to me. Boom, you hand the ball off, just fucking 1-2 hold or whatever the fuck. Like they do the shit again the next play, 1-2 hold. Just, really? You couldn't call another type of running play? Even when they put the fullback back there, that shit don't seem like it helped work shit. The fuck we need with a goddamn fullback for if that motherfucker don't think if it don't help. The whole point of having a fullback back there is having that blocker back there to, you know, knock a motherfucker out the way so the goddamn running back can at least get to the second fucking level. Not just another motherfucker to run into. Cause that's, you know, anytime I see the fucking fullback back there, it ain't amounted to shit. It ain't amounting to nothing. And it'd be different if you gonna have that, then have the fullback. You know what I'm saying? If you gonna have him back there, if you're run a pro set like that, and you run your little, hit the fullback out the backfield, or have him dive through the line and catch him over the middle of the field if a motherfuckers is coming. You know what I'm saying? Just have the motherfucker do something. Make him respect your fucking fullback. You know, it just. Maybe I should have went into coaching. You know what I'm saying? Maybe I should have went into coaching. I don't know. Maybe I should have. I think I cuss at people too much to be a pretty good coach. One of them players probably would end up whooping my ass or some shit. They end up whooping my ass because I'm sitting there watching the game, and I finally saw I don't know what was coming out of the offense was on the field. And they put the camera on Nico Collins, and Nico Collins was like, I ain't never seen that before. I haven't. I've seen D'Amico Ryans. Who the fuck? Did I say Nico Collins? Anyway. D'Amico Ryans. He was barking at something. He was just barking something, and you couldn't tell he was talking to or nothing. And I imagined that he was talking to the coach. But they were showing the offensive coordinator, you know, as they was doing that. But the offensive coordinator, he was on his headphones talking, looking at the playlist, like, because the offense was out there on the field. So I don't know who the fuck he was barking at, but he was barking at somebody. You know what I'm saying? And the defense wasn't on the field. And I think the offense was out there in the middle of fucking shit up. And I saw him barking at somebody, and I was like, I need to see more of that. I need to see more of that. Now, we talking about NFL shit here, and there's a part of being professional about being on each other. Look here. I'm like, bruh, you at this point, if the offense been doing this shit for 3 games in a row, I don't give a damn if your ass is in the box or if your ass is down here on the sidelines. And I need to tell you a little bit something. You about to hear it. You about to get it. I'm the head coach. Yeah, you about to get it. Everybody gonna be, and this one of them things where you do the shit and you just leave it at that. Because you know if you do that shit on the sideline, everybody gonna fucking see it, and everybody and their mama gonna ask you all kind of questions about it, and you just be like, I was talking to my coach, and leave it at that. And they keep asking the same thing. I was talking to my coach. Leave it at that. That's it. The only message they need to get across is whatever you said to your goddamn coach. Now, like I said, I doubt he was talking to Nick Caley at the time, but he was barking at somebody, and there wasn't no players around him. It wasn't nothing but him and his goddamn headphones, and he was barking at somebody. He could have been talking to somebody a distance away, or he could have been fussing at somebody in his headset. But, yeah, he was fussing at somebody. And my headcanon is he was fussing at Nick Caley, even though they were showing Nick Caley on camera, and that shit didn't really, unless Nick Caley just one of them motherfuckers that listen to that shit and he just going by his business like do. Which is quite possible. He could have been fussing at Nick Caley in the headset, and Nick Caley just looking at the playbook like whatever, nigga. I'm just gonna keep doing whatever I'm doing. But I need to see D'Amico Ryans more pissed off than I usually see him. It's a whole lot more than what I saw Lovie Smith. I sat there, you know, and Lovie Smith was one of them defensive-minded coaches and blah, blah, blah. And I watched them. If you think this offense was bad, this offense was super shit when Lovie Smith was here. Everybody gonna blame Davis Mills and shit for that. Davis Mills wasn't the offensive coordinator. He wasn't the one calling the plays. He wasn't the one that implemented some bullshit-ass quarterback platoon system running the fucking wishbone and quarterback sweeps and shit. That wasn't his choice. That was Pep Hamilton. Pep Hamilton with that shitty-ass offense he had when he was here. And you can blame, because a lot of those players left this team and went other places and performed quite well, at least for the next season or two. You know, so, you know, that was a coaching thing. But Lovie Smith, even though all that dumbass shit was going on the offensive side of the ball, only thing, every time they put the thing on a camera on Lovie Smith, he just sit there with that stupid ass look on his face. He always had some stupid look on his face, like wind was blowing in his face and it had like little sand and dust in it. Just, That's all you get out of him. On the sideline. You the head coach and you watching this dude fuck off your goddamn offense. It ain't no way you the head coach and you watching that shit happen on your football field and you ain't upset about it. You gotta show something. When it's an offensive coach out there and the offense do some dumb ass shit, the offensive coach be like, what the fuck? You see the motherfucker animated and shit the same way that D'Amico Ryans be animated when the goddamn offense do some shit. I mean, the defense do some shit. Like if they fuck up or something, it's just, when the offense do some fucked up ass shit, you know, they put the camera on him and he just like, it looked like he just want to say something, but he like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, woo. And you know it's like that because they gonna get asked about some shit in those press conferences, and they not gonna say what they want to say. They gonna go out there, they gonna say some generic ass shit. Ain't nobody gonna get no real answers to the questions they ask. You know, whatever it is you trying to find out, you ain't about to find it out. Just, and everybody that covers these games knows that. And I'll watch my regular media people that I watch, and I'm gonna see if anybody else noticed that. D'Amico Collins was barking at somebody on the sideline, and it could have been a ref. Like I said, you just saw him when they showed him, he was like to the side like this. But he could have been yelling at one of the referees for all we know. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, it wasn't nobody you could see on fucking screen, but he was going at somebody, which you don't usually see if you watching the game on TV. Now, if you watching the game in person or you on the sideline, that ain't no telling what the fuck you like to see or have seen. But if you watching the game on TV, you don't never see him lively like that. You know what I'm saying? If you see him lively, he usually cheering on a motherfucker or some shit like that. You don't never see him have an outburst out of anger, which that wasn't a happy outburst I saw. Now I want to see if anybody else saw that, and I want to see the commentary on that and what people think that was. Because it ain't no really direct correlation to whatever the hell is going out there where you can tell exactly who the fuck he was talking to about what, anything. I want to see. I want to know. Is anybody going to bring it up? I don't know. I would probably have to hop in somebody's live feed or leave a comment on somebody's video and ask who the fuck was he fussing at during the game? Who the fuck was he fussing at during the game? Was it a ref? Was it a coach? Was it a player? Who was it? Who was it? Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. This is Talkin Texans. Week 3 against the fucking Jaguars, and it's gonna be a long one, people.